Okay, so welcome to this evening's stream. How's everybody doing? I can see there's quite a few people already building up in chat, which is great. This evening we're going to be kind of similar to the last stream we did on Tuesday. We're going to be doing a sort of game creation stream, so it's going to be a little bit more chilled out, a little bit more social. So keep your questions coming in and keep all of your sort of crazy ideas for the build we're going to be doing. This time we're going to be taking our survival starter game, which kind of gives you some basic logic, and we're going to build upon that and sort of add some more features to it and kind of build it into more of like a fully fledged Battle Royale game. So let's just switch over to the main view and introduce the guys. So guys, are you there? You should be able to say hello now.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, so we've got a few people joining us this time. So there's we've got John, Adam, Maggie, and Sean going to be jumping in with us to do the building. I'll probably focus a little bit more this time on some building as well. We'll pull in some packages which we've already made to kind of give us some of the sort of pre-built logic. And yeah, we'll kind of do some world building and take your suggestions as always. So first things first, let's get the game made. Okay, so let's go across to survival. So we see here, simple survival shooter, last player alive wins the round. We'll call this Rumble in the Jungle, is a name I thought of about 5 minutes ago for this. So it's going to be set in a sort of jungle setting. Quite like the dinosaur picture. Okay, so I'm going to create this. So kind of classic Battle Royale sort of environments. We're going to have like almost key places on the map. So we're going to have things like a temple area. There'll be a little village area, some sort of rocks and that sort of thing. Plane crash perhaps. So if you guys got any ideas of what you maybe want to add to the world?
I'm going to wing it when I get in.
Yeah.
Nice. That's what we're all about here on the stream, is just winging it. Okay, so I'm just going to share this with Adam. I might have everybody here actually. How about that? Okay, so I've got you four guys. I'm going to share it with you four, and then Adam, I'll let you invite anybody else in if they want to.
Sure.
But all of you guys should now have your link, so you should be arriving any second now.
Rumbling Jungle.
Right, here we go. That's synchronized arrivals.
With style.
Nice. So I think the first thing we'll do is I'm actually just going to press F5 and we'll have a quick preview of we see what we get kind of in this starter game. So without having to do anything, I'm just going to press into this and we'll see that we kind of get all the game logic running. So we've got a lobby going, we've got players already shooting each other. We kind of all have the spawn point logic, the health bars, the scorecard, all those different things kind of ready and waiting. And it's just going to be a bit mad, but
dang.
Oh, nice. Okay, so looks like Adam's won that one, so we should see that round end. Adam wins with 1 point. So you can see there's a lot of things here that are kind of placeholder and gives you the space to sort of make it your own. And yeah, so that's kind of what we've come with. So at any point now we can press F5 to return to the editor. So cool. Okay, if you guys just want to maybe crack on with building, as I say, there's various areas I've outlined already that you guys should have access to sort of start building.
There you
are. First thing I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to quit my drone, go to the advanced mode and just kind of make the map a little bit larger.
I think it's a very good idea.
I think I'm going to get started with a little bit of something I made earlier, which is a Battle Royale zone package, which has sort of decreasing size zones that will damage players outside of it, which is a fairly classic Battle Royale mechanic.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, so I think that's kind of an important thing. Do you want to maybe talk a little bit about how you've done it? Obviously within Crayta, it's not, it's something that you've had to kind of build from scratch. So
yeah, it kind of proves how there's a lot of things that don't necessarily come straight built in Crayta, but that you can still make through creative means. So the Battle Royale zones are actually basically made up of big walls of UI, big textures. So we've got sort of 4 big red walls, which sort of show the outside of the zone. So it's a square zone this time rather than a circular one. And then we've got 4 big blue walls, which show the safe zone that you're trying to get to. So it actually works quite nicely. And when you step out of the zone, as you're going to see next time we preview, we actually change some of the world settings for the player as well, just on their local client, so that it looks like they're being damaged and that they're out of the zone.
Nice. Yeah, so I think it's those, we've shown them before a few times with the sort of color grading and things and how they can kind of set the scene, but we've never actually used it, at least on the stream, in a kind of gameplay sense. So that'd be quite interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What you working on, Maggie and Sean?
Oh gosh, I'm just gonna start mucking out the terrain, make it look a bit more natural and nicer.
Yeah. One
Plop some
thing.
zones in there.
Yeah, one thing that might be quite good actually is a bit of like I see you're kind of working on it anyway, but a bit of like a natural looking wall that can kind of prevent players
Yep.
from running off the edge. But don't worry too much if if there's gaps and people run off the edge, then they're not going to win, are they? So okay, so next thing I think let's just clean up this environment around the edge. So we'll go to our world settings, and it's from here that we can do a lot of things like change the time of day, the sky dome. So for example, we might want to go for something like the rainy one. I quite like this one again because you get these nice dynamic clouds. I can see I've only just realised your walls are there now, Adam. So this is our kind of box zone UI.
It doesn't look amazing in the editor because it's not moving as it's supposed to, but obviously once you play it, it'll look quite different to that.
Cool. I wonder if you could maybe add something to the parent that positions it, so we could maybe put it beneath the world now, and then when we preview it, kind of sets it into place. Would that work?
Yeah, potentially.
Try
So
that.
just move it down for now.
Yeah, just so we can kind of see what we're up to. Nice little scripting hack. Right.
Yep.
Okay, so outer horizon. So I think mountains is always nice for that sort of really distant look.
Nice.
And I think because we're in the jungle, we get this inner ring of jungle trees, which again just really helps the environment extend out much further, which is nice. And we get this nice foliage from our voxels that you've placed already. So I mean, already we're really kind of making some good progress here. Okay, so as I said before, if anyone in chat has any suggestions, anything, any Battle Royale fans and anything you'd like to see in kind of existing Battle Royales, and now's your chance to try and get some suggestions in, and we'll see what we can do in terms of getting these things maybe built into this game we're making now. Okay. Right, so we've got that. Maybe we can bring a small bit of fog later once we've kind of built more of the level out. Time of day, we could kind of make it.
Would this map even suit a
late morning.
dynamic time of day?
It could do actually. So how long would you imagine a round's going to last? So your walls, I guess, are going to kind of limit the game time. It's going to push people together. How long did it take to sort of force a round to finish, would you say?
I mean, it really depends. You can change it on the wall script. Probably want to go for around 5 minutes to make it interesting, but not too long.
Yeah,
I'll set up everything being 5 minutes.
Okay, but if I made like a day length as like an hour, how much is that gonna change?
I don't think that would change noticeably.
Wouldn't, would it? So if I went for like maybe 20 minutes, like that, because we don't want it to get too dark or anything like that. But
yeah,
we'll see how
so
that
20
works.
minutes to 30 minutes.
Yeah, makes sense. But if I just clear this, we should get an idea. I guess just to show this off actually, so we can set the time of day. So if I set a day length loop to be 10 seconds, we should see the sun whip around really quick and then go to night. It's been a while since I did this, and I find it impressive every time I see it. Oh, there's the sun going around. So if you wanted a really, really fast day-night cycle in your game, go for that. But yeah, we'll stick it back to 10 minutes. I feel like that's a bit more usable for people. Cool. Okay, so we've got that. So what we're going to want next is probably the next sort of key Battle Royale feature. So we've got our zone being built or being added. I think a loot system. So obviously when you kind of drop in, you've got nothing, and the idea is you want to be scrambling around looking for loot. So let's have a look for a package for that. So should find in here we have loot chest. So this is a package I made earlier, and I can take you through kind of what's involved in this. I think we're also so we'll see here that that's also installed this other package here called the Trigger Melee. So the Trigger Melee is kind of refined from the stream we did on Tuesday. So you may remember that game, we had those big hammers and we were kind of knocking players around. I took that logic and kind of refined it into a shareable package, which is how the melee weapons in this will work. Okay, but if we just go to our library here, go to the templates. In fact, if I go to packages, it might just be sat a little bit in the way. So yeah, so we should see that sort of on the stream above my head here. So we can see all the assets that came with that loot chest, including things like a spawn point for the loot, some sort of scripts, and then we've also got these templated weapons. And you'll notice here we've got things like mops, bats, hockey sticks, pistols, shotguns, so just various meshes from the library. So maybe if there's any meshes you've seen on the stream before and you've got an idea of how we might maybe turn that into some sort of weapon, then shout that out in the chat and we'll do our best to kind of convert those things into loot. Okay, so oh wow, nice big wall sliding past. Yeah, so that's pretty good. That's kind of a nice little wall. Obviously, yeah, it's going to stop players from escaping the boundary. That's good. Okay, so we've got this loot spawn point locator. So we actually see that this comes with this sort of like locator itself. So this is a point in the world, which is where a loot chest will spawn. And then at the end of a round, we can get that to despawn. So I'll just place a couple, but then it's kind of going to be up to the guys to place them where they want them. So I'm just going to place one here, actually. Throw that one down. And what we want to do is go to our game controller up here. So using our event system, and again, the fact that we've got this as a template means that we can do a lot of things hooked in sort of automatically with the events. We don't have to do any scripting to get these to work. So I can see that here, there's these exposed events from the game script. So things like on the lobby start, on the lobby end, when the round starts, when the round ends. So you can kind of hook into all that sort of logic from there. So what we want is on the round, when the round starts, we want it to spawn all of these loot chests for us. So if we just add another event here, and we want to say for every instance of our loot spawn point, we want to call spawn loot. So that's going to spawn one of these chests. And the way I've written the logic for this is when you interact with the chest, that's when it kind of does a random roll to work out what comes out of the chest. And I'll show you a little bit more of that in a moment. Okay, and on round end, we want to do the opposite. So we want to go for every loot spawn point, let's clear the loot. Okay, so that makes sure that all the loot that spawned, if any of it wasn't picked up, it gets destroyed. And then for the next round, we can kind of start from afresh. So let's have a quick look at our loot chest. Okay, so just for you guys that are building, don't forget you can check the editor time of day preset override in your world settings.
I can finally tell someone that.
Yeah, because then that will make sure that you don't get the dynamic day-night cycle in the editor. Obviously, you might have noticed then it went really dark for me. That's because the day-night cycle's running in the editor still. So we can check that box to make sure that we don't get those things applying without turning it off. So obviously, if we forget to turn it back on, we're going to lose that out in our game. There's an interesting. I've just quick glance at chat, Adam. Here's one quick interesting one for you, maybe. A rocket launcher that shoots skeletons. That would be an interesting one.
I'll do it.
And fire arrows and a headband like Rambo. So again,
wait, how do people feel about skulls, or does it have to be skeleton? I'm thinking giant skulls that bounce around and explode after a time.
I mean, if you're brave enough to go for that, then go for it. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so this is our loot chest. So we can see here that this is a chest mesh with some children. So we have some things like a light, which is inside. And we use that light to sort of determine the rarity of the item. So as you open it, that light will come out of varying colors. A trigger box around it. So this is the trigger box that we interact with. So again, going back to the accessibility stream that we did a week or so ago, we know that if we use the trigger system and hook in the events for when a player interacts with the trigger, pass that to the chest to tell it to open. Just means that we don't have to be quite so accurate at looking at the chest, and that can help in a lot of cases from an accessibility point of view. So that's always worth bearing in mind. And then an item spawn position is once the chest opens, this chest is going to spawn an item for the player, and this is just the location where that will spawn. Okay, and then as I say, this came from the package, and we've got all these various properties part of the loot script. So we can use these arrays here to determine the items. So the common items are things like the mop, the baseball bat, the hockey stick, all the way up to sort of an exotic item, which is the machine gun at this rate. So any suggestions we get from chat, we'll try and work those into that, perhaps in sort of gauge where the rocket launcher that shoots schools would come in that list, depending on how powerful Adam makes it.
Well, we need to work out when the normal rocket launcher goes first. That's already
true.
imported.
Okay, I could have a look at doing that now then, actually.
Cool.
So we say Adam's downloaded that. So if I go to my templates, and I assume if I search rocket launcher, okay, so I've got a rocket launcher and a rocket template. I guess rocket launcher is the rocket launcher,
and it fires rockets.
It fires rockets, not schools. Cool. So this is our sort of RPG mesh. And is that using the sort of gun script?
Yeah, it's using the same gun script, but there's a tick box to say fire projectile, and then you sort of let the projectile handle the damage and stuff rather than the gun handling it.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, it's the rocket that handles all the explosion and damage and things like that.
Cool. Okay, so one thing I just want to add to this then to make it sort of work with the loot system is just another little script where we can define its rarity. So let's add a rarity spec script. And then here we've got this drop down where we just pick a common, rare, legendary, or exotic. So what do you think? Maybe a legendary?
I think it's pretty legendary.
Yeah, it's not quite the rarest.
Kind of OP.
Okay, maybe the school version can be the legendary. Oh, so it'd be the exotic version.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Right, so that should all be set up and ready. So if I now stop editing that and I go and edit my loot chest, and I'll slot that into the legendary items array. Cool, there we are. So simple as that. So then now the logic in the script will kind of, if it rolls sort of a random number that determines it wants a legendary item, it will then pick randomly between the two, shotgun or rocket launcher. How hard would it be to add a teleporter system? So we did do that, yeah, last time. As Richard said there, it'd be quite easy. So maybe that's something we could add is maybe a little teleport pads to sort of whip you around the battlefield.
Yeah, we could have a go at that.
Be interesting to see how many times people teleport to outside of the zone. So,
oh yeah.
But you know, that's the risk you probably have to take.
I'm still working on the bone bomber at the moment though, so I can't keep up with all these requests.
Okay, cool, that's fine. So there's that. Armor. So I had planned to maybe try and write some armor in. I hadn't quite got around to it, so we could maybe tackle that on the stream. We'll see how much time we have. But coding in armor would be straightforward. We have the health package, and you can kind of extend that, or you could, write your own system entirely for that. Okay, so now we've got the loot system in. We probably want to go and just have a look at our user. So this is our user template. And again, just for people who perhaps haven't caught many of the other streams, so we have a user template which kind of handles the kind of the player and the account itself. So the kind of the human that's logged in. So while you're playing the game, there'll be one user. And then we have our player template, which is the actual character that appears in the game. So kind of the player can be destroyed essentially and sort of reinitialized, but the user itself, while the player is logged into the game, will exist kind of as a template in the game. So we have some things attached to the user that are more persistent. So even when their character itself has died, we want things to be accessible to the user itself. So things like notification here. So if any players, if the game kind of wants to tell all of the users something and their character has been killed and they're no longer kind of in the game, but they're still logged in spectating, for example, that's why we'd have things on the user. So slight difference to look out for there. inventory. So one thing we want to get rid of here is we notice that we start with this with the weapon, and obviously for a battle royale we don't really want to start with that gun. So this is our inventory system, which is the kind of one that the starter games come with, and it is a package, so you could pull this into your own games if you haven't started from a starter game. But again, this is just one way of doing it. You know, there's no reason why you couldn't write your own inventory system. So a lot of the things we show here are just kind of working with that default package. But again, as I say, there's probably a million different ways to do this sort of thing. But I'm just going to remove this script entirely because we don't want that to get picked up by the main inventory script, which would look for those and say, okay, what do I want to equip the player with? Max size 3 weapons, I think that'd be fine. But I'm going to check this option, which you might not quite be able to see, but it's to replace the item if it's full. So if I've got all of my slots full, but I want to pick something else up, then I can select here to kind of destroy the thing I'm currently holding and swap it out with the one that I'm looking at. Okay, so I think that's about that. Okay, how's the world coming? So let's have a little fly around here. You've got your big skulls.
Working on it.
Okay, got this sweet looking temple thing over here. So who's working on the temple? Is that? I'm gonna assume that's John. Yeah, he's just popped up. There he is. So cool. Yeah, looks good. I'll leave you to that. Fly over here. So whereabouts are you, Sean?
I'm making the cave.
Ooh, is this the next to the temple? This thing?
The chunky looking cave. Okay.
You tucked away in there somewhere. Adam's working on that. Maggie, what are you up to?
I'm working on the terrain.
That's right.
Gonna sprinkle some trees in a bit.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just nice actually having lots of like natural cover, natural things to hide behind, and
Exactly.
that's good. Yeah, and this is kind of again one of the benefits of the basic mode. So it's not just about that kind of shallow end necessarily, where like we kind of can't quite have the power of advanced mode. The basic mode always has a purpose, and especially in this case, if you're kind of trying to scope out the land and you want to see, if you're making bits of cover, you want to know how that would behave when you crouch behind, instead of having to run and jump into kind of the preview mode. I can see that someone's building this right in front of me. That's pretty cool. You don't have to jump into preview to sort of test. You can kind of, in the editor itself, you get an idea of scale. So if you want to try and jump over something, crouch under something, you get a lot of flexibility and options there, which is really cool. Ooh, Adam, there's a thought.
Oh no.
I think you've already mentioned it. Actually, I'm just trying to catch up with chat here. But yeah, having like a supply drop maybe.
Oh no, I brought that one up. I
You
shouldn't
brought
have
that
bothered.
one up. Okay. No, having a
No,
plane, a plane fly over and drop something might look quite cool.
I could certainly try that.
Yeah, that's again probably a bit more of a stretch goal, but we'll see.
There's all sorts of things suggested. We need to work out what people want the most. I think I might leave teleports out for this one since we did it on the other stream actually.
Yeah.
We'll try and go for new things.
Yeah, I think maybe the plane airdrop would look quite cool.
That would be cool. I'll see what I can do.
Okay. Right, what I will do then in the meantime is I might tackle one of these buildings then and try and get on with some stuff. So John's doing the temple, Sean's doing the cave. There was the plane crash, so I might have a little look at the plane crash. Trying to embed that in somewhere. I'll do that over. Let's go over here.
I've set up the bone bomber as an exotic item on the loot chests.
Nice. Did you add a rarity spec script to the bone bomber?
No.
Cool. If you want to just do that.
Although I took it from the rocket launcher, so maybe it works.
Oh, maybe it came with it then. Yeah, you just need to swap that to exotic so it gets the right coloured light.
Okay, doesn't look like it's there, so I'll have a look.
Okay. Right. Meshes play. Nice big propeller plane. So what we'll do is we'll kind of bury this in the ground a bit, build some sort of destruction around it. So I think the first thing I want to do is erode a bit of a trench. Just drop this guy down in here. A little bit of rotation maybe. Cool. Okay, so now it's positioned. I might just shift this up again, get it out of the way, and then I think it would be better if this was painted a slightly different color in here. So I can go to my paint or my pen, go to the paint operation, and look for the, got like a wet mud color. So paint away a lot of this now. So there we are. That looks a bit better, a bit more underground earthy. Okay, wouldn't be a plane crash if there wasn't some sort of fire on it. So let's have a look at our effects. I think extra large fire should do it. Drag and drop that in. We should see now in flames. Might be a nice, interesting use for our skeleton mesh as well. So rather than having the skeleton fired out of a rocket launcher, let's go for it. A bit of set dressing. Okay, so that, again, this is one benefit of the advanced mode, is getting the sort of accuracy to really start to refine these props. You can select relative options, so if I want to kind of do rotations and movement relative to the object, so not necessarily within world space, but that helps kind of once you've rotated an object in world space, if you then want to kind of tweak its relative position, that's a really useful little tool. It'd be interesting to see a pyramid or tomb map. So I think, yeah, John's got some sort of temple going on over here, so that might lead down. It's surrounded by water, and there's some steps, which I'm not going to go down just yet, but I'm intrigued to see where that's going to lead. Cool. Okay, so I've got a plane crash. We could maybe go for some, might just put a few trees around. Look. So we can filter the library, we can search for sort of text search, or we can filter by tags. So here I can go for jungle expedition and search tree, and that's going to give me this sort of selection of jungle expedition specific trees. Maybe we can put big tree here and actually rotate this around as if the tree's done, or the plane's done some damage to it. Okay, then this might actually be an interesting place for one of our loot drops. So I'm just going to put this loot spawn point onto my hotbar so I can select that at any time. And then let's just drop
Is that a template?
That's a template, yeah. So yeah, I guess it's worth you guys all seeing that. So loot spawn point is a template, which is just a locator. If you put that on your hotbar, then you can start dropping those in
Nice.
wherever you find them. So cool. Okay, environments are starting to come together nicely. Did you say you were going to add some trees, Maggie?
Yep, bit by bit.
Bit by bit. Cool. Okay. Right. So music and audio, Rich is saying. So we could add some music to play at certain parts of the game, probably. So I'll have a look at doing that in a moment. We could add various sounds around the world. So yeah, to sort of set dress this area a bit more, I guess. Let's go to the sounds, and then if I search engine up here, we've got some engine sounds. So if I just test a couple. Now some of them are kind of like a one-shot sound that will stop. Some of them will kind of continuously loop. I think that's an idle loop. Starting. See what else we've got. If I search the tags, I think we've got all sorts here. So we want maybe an industrial sound. There's so many to pick from, I can never know what to look for. I think I'm going to go back to those engine sounds. I think that one will do. I can just drag and drop that into the world. Again, we see this. I'm just going to stop that. So we see this sort of these two big spheres up here essentially, and that kind of determines the range in which we hear it. So if I move the camera away now, we'll see that it starts to disappear. And as I get closer, it comes back in. And all of those are defined by the properties that are exposed here at the side. So I want this to be 3D because I want to make sure that players only really hear this engine when they're close to the plane. But I can probably drop in a lot of the values here. So let's half those and let's see. Okay, so by here you can't really hear it. As you get up to here, it's a bit louder. I think we've also got some fire sounds, so there we go. A nice oven loop sound, so I'll drop that one in as well. And again, I'll probably drop that to a similar sort of range. It doesn't seem to be picking up the 3D, so maybe that's not. Maybe that one's not quite working with that, so we'll try a different one. Or, oh, I know why. It's because it's still playing in the library. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So as we get close, we'll have that fire effect playing, and we should start to hear that as well. So that coming together. We could add some. Maybe a few boxes around here and start adding some loot to that as well. How's everybody else getting on?
Doing good.
Yeah, pretty good. I'm trying to work on the supply plane, which could be an interesting challenge to tackle for a stream. But
Yeah.
you know, I won't say no to it.
You could have a plane that moves across an axis and just drops a loot box with physics.
Sean, have you just said what I'm doing? Like word for word.
Whoops.
What are you?
Spoiler alert.
What are you planning on having it drop?
A supply crate?
I feel
Can
like
I not do that?
Well, I just wonder if it needs to be something more than the loot you can find.
Yeah, could do. How does the supply crate template work? Because I could take that, make a new template from it that has physics and falls down and has more rare stuff.
So each instance, I'm trying to think, you could maybe make like a different version that has like different odds on it. So the properties, I'll just go to it now actually. So in the properties, I've defined kind of the chance of things spawning. So you can kind of set 40% chance of it being common, 30 rare, 20 legendary, and 10 exotic. You could maybe make a supply crate version of this template which has those odds changed. So it's like,
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's like 70% exotic. You know, it's gonna have some good stuff in.
Mm-hmm. And then I can make it look different and sparkly.
Yep, you could do that.
Do love sparkly.
Okay, a couple more things there.
Who's building this lovely temple in the pond? Hi, by the way.
Oh, hi, Robin. That is
Who just deleted my block?
that is John. John's over there building in the temple. He's gone underground, and I'm not entirely sure what the plan is over there, but I'm intrigued to just let him get on with it and
That's
see what
ominous.
comes out.
I want to change his puddle, his water.
Oh, you'd have to ask permission. Cool. Right, I'm gonna leave that there. So we've got 3 loot drops over there.
Go for it, Robin. It's fine.
Oh, excellent.
Cool. Okay, I'll have a quick run over here. So
Like, I feel like this temple is going nowhere though.
It's a good temple. It's a good temple. I like it.
cool. So we've got our village being built. So this is our using some of our straw huts.
Yep, I'm villaging it up.
Oh, so yeah, there's all sorts of little sort of banana trees, and you do like some sort of little fruit plantation type thing. Would be quite cool. What have we got going on over here? A bit more exotic. What areas are we missing? I feel like there was one more I'd planned.
There's a camp.
Oh, a camp,
done yet.
a dig site. Yeah, I might tackle that one
Yes.
as well. I think dig site, we could keep that kind of central. That might be an interesting one. Have plenty of loot in, so let's go for around here somewhere. Okay, so our jungle expedition isn't just about kind of trees and sort of the vegetation inside of it. It's kind of more, as it sort of suggests, the expedition side of it. We have some parts of it as well, which are kind of more like kind of like tents and cars and base camps and that sort of thing. So I'm going to lean on some of that stuff now. So want plenty of crates. Some chairs would be good. So as I'm double clicking these, you might notice they're appearing down at the bottom in my hotbar. So that's one way of just kind of browsing the library and getting stuff down to the bottom. Rich has asked if we could preview. Are you in the middle of anything, Adam, or do you think we could give it a go?
Yeah, it's all good. The supply planes are way off
Okay, cool.
at the moment.
It's not going to break hugely. Let me just
Yeah,
check.
we're good.
Have we moved the spawn points? Yeah.
Oh, there might be
Yeah, they're
more.
all up in the sky.
Cool.
Ah.
As
Okay.
a very
Damage.
quick and dirty way of falling into the map.
Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, let's go for a preview then, and let's just see how well we've set that up so far. So again, at any point I can press F5 or press the play button, and that's going to throw us straight into our preview state. So there's a few more of us now. Best of luck. So the idea is you should be able to run up to any of the crates, any of the loot, hit E and pick up whatever it gives you.
I forgot to put loot crates down.
That's okay. I know there's some over by the plane. John's going to beat me
Moment
to
of
it.
truth. We'll see if the Battle Royale zone thing works.
I've got a bat. Oh, it's not
When
swinging.
nothing will be shot at.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I've missed out placing something on the player.
Oh.
I know I'd forgotten something. Oh no, we're at the mercy of the people with the guns until we can find a gun. Oh, so here comes Adam's zone.
Whoa. They haven't quite worked. Okay, I'll
I can go back and do that. So again, that's
Where'd you go?
that's the beauty of the sort of the iteration speed, is we can get in there and start to work these things out. By exit, will it work? No, not quite. Okay.
Well, I'm dead.
Robin is trashing.
Yeah.
I've gone in first box and I've gone insane.
Cool. Okay. Well, I'm going to end that killing spree. So again, any point, we can press F5 and we'll return back to the editor. We'll get a nice aerial view of the map from up here. Cool. So I'm going to go fix my issue quickly. Do you know what was up with your part of it, Adam?
Nope.
Okay.
I'll work it out now.
Best of luck. So one thing I did was I installed, or part of the loot package came with the melee logic, so I hadn't actually put that on the player yet. So if I drag that across to the player, we get this script that appears, and we also need our trigger attaching to the player. If I just move that out on that axis, that should sit in front of the player. And the next thing is dragging that trigger into there. Okay, that should be everything set up. So that was a lot of the stuff we wrote on the last stream that I've managed to package up, make available here, which is quite nice. You want me to come and have a look at the script with you at all, Adam?
No, it should be all right.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll work it out.
Okay, well, let me know if you do, because I can help you collaborate on it if needed.
Yeah, you can open up the Battle Royale. Yeah, BR zone script is what it's called if you're interested.
Okay, well, I'll have a look anyway. So, whereabouts are you?
Around line 80,
Cool. Yeah, I can see you there.
around where it says start zone. So part of it worked because it definitely made the zones visible, which is on toggle walls visible.
Okay.
And then where it tries to say set zone size and pos, that's where something must have gone wrong because it didn't make them the right size. or
Right.
position.
Okay. Cool.
But I'll have a look into that.
Okay, I'll leave that with you. So for anyone who hasn't seen the code editor before, so this is the sort of built-in Lua code editor that we've got in Crayta. So you'll notice we haven't gone to any external programs. We haven't had to sort of load up into anything external. It's all kind of built into Crayta. And what that allows us to do is actually harness our kind of collaboration as far as a code editor. So we're actually working together in real time within the same script, which is a super powerful way of being able to sort of debug code and work together. But also actually is kind of like a learning tool. So if you have someone that you're trying to sort of teach game development to, or just sort of Lua and scripting, being able to actually work together in the same script is really kind of quite key and vital. But yeah, so let me know if you want anything looking at there, Adam, but I'll close that for now. Okay, so got a nice little arch being built over there. Okay, so I think I've got that working. If I just press O, we get this console appear at the bottom, which is kind of sat behind me on stream. But that gives us all of our sort of print out and statements, and it will tell us if there's any errors in the execution. And then just a quick look through there, I can see that we're all good. There's no errors. Just not everything was finished being set up, so that's all good. Okay, right, I'm going to tackle this dig site quickly, and then we'll have another preview shortly. Also try and have a look at the chat. So say if you have any questions for us, the mods are doing a good job as always at doing the best to answer them. But yeah, if you do have any questions, make sure you shout them out in chat. We know we'd love to sort of share as much information with you as we can.
I think I may have found the problem.
Cool. Always good. Let's just make sure we've hide some of the, or stop these things from colliding. Did you add any loot yet, Sean? You could add some through your cave.
Ooh, someone's got a nice idea. Why don't we add a waterfall? I'm going to do that.
Ooh, that'd be cool. More than happy to leave that with one of you guys.
Yeah, I'll do a waterfall into John's temple. It'd be nice.
Nice.
Sure, John doesn't mind.
I'm sure he doesn't. There, you will have to make sure that there's loot behind the waterfall, because that's kind of
course
rule number one of video games. Is if there's a waterfall, there has to be loot behind it.
Oh, yeah, it's mandatory.
Well, I feel like we can't put any red barrels down unless we make them explode. Because it's kind of
it's illegal not to.
Yeah. Maybe that's one for you, Adam.
No, stop. Too much. Okay, I may have fixed the zones.
Okay. Well, I'll get a few more bits down for this dig site.
Yeah,
Start having a look at that. Oh, time flies when you're having fun. 45 minutes in already.
Yeah, but 45 minutes in and a sort of working
Yeah.
full Battle Royale map's not bad.
It's not bad, yeah. Yeah, you know, we
An
have
hour
added
in,
stuff
it might
to it.
work.
Yeah, who knows? Cool. If anyone has any suggestions, as we said, for any weapons or anything, I don't know if you suggest them and I've missed them, but feel free to shout them out again.
I mean, we've got the Bone Blaster
We've
or
got the
whatever
Bone
it was called.
Blaster.
Bone Bomber.
Don't bother.
Okay. Hoping the Battle Royale zone works, I'm going to go back to the supply plane.
Cool. Okay, right. So I'm just going to paint out a little area here, add in some big dinosaur bones because they're always really cool. And then one thing I was just thinking, actually, kind of again, classic Battle Royale sort of mechanic is obviously being able to see how many players are left. We have the scoreboard, you can kind of get an idea from that, but I think a numerical value somewhere on the screen would be quite good. So get a little bit of UI coding in. Invisibility knife. Sounds interesting.
That's cool. I don't know what that even entails though, but
Yeah.
Do you use to stab people and they become invisible?
It's
You
the,
stab yourself and become invisible?
the
that a
knife of
curse?
invisibility. I always forget how big this thing is. It's so cool.
Is the knife invisible?
I'm
So
going to
you
go
can't
with the
see who
knife.
you're stabbing?
I'm going to assume the knife is, but
To be fair, we could definitely go for an invisibility tactic, couldn't we? That's one I'm willing to try, actually.
I mean that might feel a little bit OP. Maybe that's something that comes out of the
Just a
supply.
bit.
Yeah, out of your supply crate is like a cloak of invisibility.
Yeah, it would be a bit over the top.
It would.
But it could put an effect around you or something so that you can sort of be seen, but you're not as obvious.
so a bit of a terrible visibility knife.
Shut up, Sean. Ruining my ideas.
Cool. The waterfall's looking nice. Is that you, Sean?
Yep.
Yeah, it looks good. We've got the big jungle rock meshes, which are always quite good ones for having sort of over like at the base of it, perhaps, or sticking out halfway up the waterfall. Looks quite good.
I forget about those.
Yeah, they look quite nice. They're a really nice way to blend the sort of voxels and the meshes together. Someone's asked, can the map size be increased? So yeah, so at the very beginning we started with a sort of a square that we've kind of extruded out. You could probably push that sort of a little bit further than this, but obviously the bigger the map, the less kind of performant the game starts to become. So you could push it to a bigger size, but we kind of preferred this for this game at least, is this kind of more medium size with a lot more sort of detail packed into that. But yeah, it's very easy at the beginning. It's just a case of extruding. So we have this extrusion tool where we can kind of just pull up parts of the map like that and do that. So we start with that beginner square and we just kind of pulled out the sides. So yeah, it can be quite large. Cool. Okay. Works quite nicely. What else can we add? Oh, the tables. That was what I was looking for. So I get plenty of loot around here. Oh yeah, so I see someone's added some ammo chests to the outside of this. Looks good. So let's get a couple of these and we'll stick some loot on top of these. Okay, cool. Right. Do you think we're ready for a quick test again, guys?
Wait, I need to do my legal duty. Hang on.
Putting some graves down.
Some graves.
Ooh, yeah, is that like snow voxel as water foam?
Oh yeah.
That looks pretty nice.
Oh, cool.
I think there's some splash meshes, effects, but not quite sure how well they would work with that, but something to think
Let's
about.
have a look. What's the thing? Oh, just loot spawn point, right?
Yes, yeah. So if you just
There we
add that to a table or a mesh somewhere.
Legal duty done.
Nice. Cool. Okay. Are we ready?
Yep.
Yep.
Quick test. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
F5.
Fingers crossed for the zones.
Yep.
Well, they're working so far.
Yep. So far, so good. Cool. Okay, 20 seconds now. We're going to get chucked up to the sky. Oh, look
Oh.
at that. I landed right next to some loot. Oh, this one's empty. Oh, so my box is empty. Someone just picked up an AK right next to me.
Is the loot the barrels?
It's the chests.
Chests.
Oh, I can't see any chests.
Crayta logo on.
Campfire in the dig site. Yeah, that's a good idea actually. Get a campfire in there. Oh, health. The health working? Oh, the health isn't working. Right, I've got a bat at least.
He hid in the tent and beat me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Got a pistol. Okay, I've got something at least. Who's left? Okay, so one player down.
But
Okay.
is the zone working? It
It
looks like
lo-
it is actually.
Ooh, it ricochets. Okay, I'll spectate the rest of this round then. Looks like John's on a roll.
Ooh.
There goes Maggie.
There goes Maggie. 3 plays left. So I think we might need some more loot boxes around. I think it needs to be plenty for
For
people
sure.
to get. Yeah.
It'll certainly help when the supply plane starts dropping some. Whoa, who's shooting? Yes.
Nice.
Adam wins
64
again.
health. That makes me think, oh, we do have health pickups.
Yes, yeah, it didn't quite work, so I'll go and have a look at that. Unless
Okay.
unless you wanted to have a quick look while I get a players remaining count in.
Uh,
Oh, it looks like
still going on the
we've all
supply.
spawned with our loot, which is something to look at.
Maybe John would want to take a look at spawning with loot.
Yeah, maybe that's probably an event. I guess we can just hook in. I'm gonna press F5 to go back to editor. But yeah, a couple of issues there. So I don't know if the zone was working. Didn't look like it was moving in. So I don't know if you want to do like.
No,
Maybe.
it was, I think, just over 5 minutes. We didn't give it enough time to get that close.
Okay, so yeah, maybe just speed that up a bit then.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe speed that up. I'm gonna have a look at the health pickup. If you wanna, if someone could have a look at resetting the weapons at the start of the round, that would be good. Right, health.
Add a down.
I suspect health pickup. Update that message there. Did it allow me to interact with it? It's probably waiting for me to just collide with it. Unless we've got errors, check our console. Okay, doesn't look like it. On use. Take the script here.
So I should be able to just take a copy of the loot chest and essentially change its mesh, right?
Yes, if you break the link to the template and create a new one,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can, yeah, you could mess with those parameters.
Nice.
Did it not work because you had a full health already? No, I'm pretty sure. Again, I guess I'm kind of sat in the way of my health bar, but I definitely had taken some damage, so it that didn't quite work for some reason. So I'm just going to double check this health script. So here I can see it's calling health script heal. It should heal the amounts. So one thing I might just do, and again, looking at the health pickup, actually, it didn't have a. It's just kind of the mesh itself. So one thing, again, from an accessibility point of view, is it's quite a small mesh. So let's just add a trigger around this. Okay, make that a bit probably just a bit bigger maybe. Something like that. And then all we need to do now is on interact. So we'll check that it check it so it's interactable. And then we can say on interact, drag in the parent and say on the pickup spawner script, pick it up. There, that's just one way, maybe just to kind of hook that logic up, make sure that works. Russ, can you have portals to a different world or level? Yeah, you could do. So you could add, as part of the API, you can send different users to different worlds or levels within this game. So if the game suited that sort of gameplay, you could have it so players went to a different map, perhaps, or to a different world, so they could play in a different environment. So you could have a Battle Royale game with like a desert theme as well. So yeah, that's one way, you know, you can kind of break your games down into multiple worlds. Right. So I was going to have a look at the game script. Oh yeah, game. If I can search the world for game controller. Okay, so I can scroll down here and I can see that the game controller also has this other script on it called the Elimination game script. So this Elimination game script carries some extra logic. So all of the starter games, kind of, or most of them, come with the same kind of game script, which is one script that kind of is really flexible and can be used to power all sorts of different game modes. And in some cases, like in this game, we have this extra script on top of it just to kind of add a bit more logic. So in this one, for example, we do a bit more around like checking for when all the other players have died and that sort of thing. So we can actually lean on this function here, which is already has a schedule up here. So every second it checks for if there's only one player left. And so in this check for elimination, we could actually, at this point, we could push that number alive to all of the users if we wanted to. So first thing I need to do is go to the user. Okay, I'm just going to add a new script folder. In fact, we already have a HUD in here somewhere, don't we? HUD. Okay, so we have a HUD script folder already. So this comes with a script and the timer. So the timer we see at the top. So I'm going to add another widget to this screen. A new one's called Players Remaining widget. Okay, and all this will be is just a simple example of kind of a players remaining and then the number. So if I open that widget up, see here, so all of our UI editing is done in editor as well, using the same editor as the Lua editor. All of it is coded in HTML, CSS, with JavaScript to kind of power the sort of more dynamic side of it, with a sort of game face as a middleman. So game face allows us to bind in to the HTML using the sort of JavaScript side of things. So that's how we can kind of update numbers and all sorts of different things, like kind of styles and classes, and it's a really kind of nice, easy way of kind of making your UIs really dynamic and flexible. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff here. We see we've got JavaScript functions, which can then call back to a Lua function. So things like, for example, on a button or something that's clicked or interacts within the UI can call back to the Lua to act upon certain things, but we don't need that for now. Similarly here, we can have functions defined that can be called to update like the model and things like that, but again, we don't want that. All we really need for this example is this part here. So this is our sort of binding, for example, or this is where we define our model. So this is the data that the UI is going to use. So we need to give it a name. So I normally go for bindings. Again, that can kind of, you could have more than one model in your widget. So it just depends on what the model itself is going to do. I'm going to have a players remaining, and I'm going to set that to But for now, I'm just going to set that to -1. And the reason I've set that to -1 is just so I know that if the game says it's -1, then I know it's this default binding, and there's a problem there that hasn't kind of fleshed through with my code. That's just one way that I can ensure that obviously the number that I'm seeing in the UI is, say, if it remains as -1, I know that there's a problem on my code somewhere. Let's remove all this HTML because I don't want that. Okay, so for the HTML then, I've got this div container, and what I want to do is just write a quick extra div inside this, and I'm going to write a binding now. So we see the API still works here, so the API isn't just for the sort of Lua side of things. We have this suggested list that's appeared, so where I've typed data and it's given me an example of all the things that I can do. So data bind value. Okay, and we'll just close that div there. Okay, so the value I want to bind can be defined like this. So be a couple of curly braces, and then inside that I put my model name. So that'll be bindings dot layers remaining. Okay, so what that's going to do is that's going to take whatever this value is, whatever that evaluates to, which in this case is the number that's assigned against this model here. And that's actually going to then kind of regurgitate that value inside this element, so inside this div element. So the way you can think of it is essentially, if you're familiar with HTML and CSS and that sort of thing, is if I put a -1 there, obviously that would be inside the div in the UI. But this way, that's how we can kind of power it to be dynamic. Okay. So let's just clear a lot of this stuff. Okay, one thing we can do here, which is quite a nice way to work with UI in Crayta, is you can split the source editor up. So if I want to put the source editor down at the bottom now, I actually get to sort of preview the game up here, and that's one way. And again, you can do that with the sort of the normal game view and a Lua script. You can have the sort of the editor split in half, and it's just a nice way to manage your workflow. Okay, let's clear a lot of this comment up here. Okay, so I'll probably stick this in the top left corner. So let's just say 1 rem, 1 rem. Okay, probably need to get that to also have. So one thing we also want to do here, obviously, is have a string next to it. So we want it to say players remaining. So let's go for players remaining message, and the message will be players remaining. Quite straightforward there. Okay, so I can also then just bind that straight into this same div. So I can say bindings dot players remaining message. Okay, let's make this nice and clear. So nice big font size. Okay, and the background, make it clear. So one thing, let's say, I think this particular build I'm playing on has a bit of an issue at the minute with UI appearing sometimes on saving the widget. So you just have to bear with me while I try and get that to show up. How are you guys all getting on with your stuff? I'm expecting big things when I come back to the world.
If by big things you mean a gun that also turns you into a tree, then yes.
I must have really missed that inside the inside the chat. Whoever suggested
It's come
that.
up several times, so you know
Cool.
it's got to be done.
Yeah, no, I'm down for that. Gun that turns you into a tree, sure.
I'm wondering if it should be a separate control or it literally toggles the tree on every time you fire, so it's actually more annoying for you. Probably a separate control.
Yeah.
Every time.
But then you'll be trying to hit someone and you're just switching between a tree and not a tree.
It's a curse and a blessing.
Okay. This should appear. I don't know if you want to just jump in this widget and help me for a sec, Sean, if that's
Oh, yep,
if
certainly.
you're
Where
able
are
to.
you?
Players remaining widget.
It's not on the player or the user.
It's on the user. You could just hit Control O from the home page, and I think it should appear as something you can.
I forgot about this.
Yeah, it's a really nice way of being able to filter through.
Player remaining widgets. Okay.
Okay, so I've got my container at the top, absolutely positioned top left corner, with my
Yep.
binding and everything. I'm just trying to get it to appear at the top. Sometimes going in and out of the Okay.
Yeah, I need
Mind if I just leave you with that to have a quick look for a sec? What I might do is just jump
Sure.
into the HUD script while you play with that and do some of the coding around getting it to appear. So one thing we want to do is define a text property for our message. So we kind of put it in that default kind of model at the bottom of the widget there. But obviously we want to make sure that we can have that definable in a script. So let's go for name. Players remaining message type text. Players remaining. So we're going to pass that through to the script, to the widget in a moment. So first thing we want to do in this part is get a reference that widget. So on our local init, so we want to make sure that anytime we're referring to screen space UI on the user, is that we're on the local client, that we're not kind of on the server. So when we're on the local client, we know exactly which client it is we're trying to refer to. Okay, so players remaining widget is equal to, and we get our entity like we normally do, so self get entity, and then dot, and I can refer directly to it just using the name here, so that would be players remaining widget. Okay, and by default, I want to make sure that's hidden. Then I can call a function on that widget, which is simply hide. Okay, so we've already got some functions in here which are built in with the starter game logic. So getting things like the lobby to appear, getting various things to happen. So I can just lean on that. So here underneath when we show the timer, we also want to show this players remaining. Okay, so players remaining widget. Okay, but then instead of updating it in the same way we do the timer, we want to have a function that we can call from our elimination game script, which we looked at before. So we just want to write a new function here. Quite low down there. I'll just do that up here so you can see that a bit easier. Okay, so function HUD script update players remaining, and we want to have a variable passed to this which is the players remaining. So remember our elimination game script already worked that out for us. Roman H, want to build Mafia or Werewolf for it. Oh, that'd be quite cool actually. That's kind of I assume you mean like the kind of that social party game that people play. That'd be quite a cool, interesting game mechanic to try and build. Okay, so quite often what you're going to want to do is you want to make sure when you're trying to refer, as I said before, to UIs, you want to make sure that you're on the client. So to ensure that we can call this from anywhere and kind of guard against that, one trick we can do here is to quick if statement of get entity is local, and this will tell us if where this is currently been called from is on the local client. If it is, then great, we'll carry on with what we're trying to do. Otherwise, we must be on the server, and therefore let's pass it to the local client. So I want to say send to local. Okay, and kind of call it recursively. So we want to call the function that we're currently in, making sure we pass any parameters along with that. Okay, at this point we guarantee we know we're on the local client. So let's say self.players remaining, and we know that that's going to return as what we sort of grabbed on the initialize earlier. .js, .bindings, .players remaining equals player remaining. Okay, so I can access the JavaScript, and then my model name that I defined, and then my sort of variable name. Okay, so that function is ready. One thing we also want to do is pass the message. So just up here, when we show it, let's update players remaining widget again. So that's just players remaining widget, JavaScript, bindings, players remaining message equal to self.properties. So the property we defined at the top of this script is remaining message. Okay, so now we've got that in place. Last thing we want to do is make sure we hide it again when the HUD hides. So where we hide the timer, let's just hide that. Okay, so last thing is the elimination game script now needs to update all the players with that. Okay, so by this point we've worked out our number live, and before we move on to the next thing, let's just write, we can basically take this loop here, copy and paste, clear out this logic here. Okay, so get world returns as our sort of root world entity, which is kind of like a global entity where we can hook into various parts of the API. So again, we can do a get world for each user. So this is going to loop through all of the users in the world. And don't forget what we've just done with that HUD script is attached to each user. So we can say for every user entity, let's call user entity send to local. And then we can just jump across here, make sure we get the right name. So update players remaining, copy, paste. And what we want to pass there is the number live, so the number of players that are alive that we've just worked out. Okay, so that should be all of that hooked up. Did you have any luck at getting that to appear, Sean, or are we just gonna?
Yep, that's fine.
Oh, that's fine. Cool. So if I go back to game, oh, excellent. Cool. That's just me being slow at UI. I should point out that Sean is our UI UX developer at Unit 2, so he's the UI guy basically.
You could slightly tell.
Cool. Okay, so we've got our players remaining UI there, and we've got our -1 that we saw. So that should hopefully all work. We'll see. How are we looking? Have we got plenty of loot crates around now and all the other little bugs fixed?
Everything's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
I think I'd like to say I've got all my bugs fixed.
Okay, cool. This is looking pretty good. So I think we're at a good point now to maybe have a quick preview. So if everyone's happy, I'm going to press F5.
Go for it.
I've managed to hide a caterpillar somewhere in the map.
Oh no!
Of course you have.
Okay, let's go back to editor. We need to get rid of that.
Yeah. Cool.
I added in a tank that Ed Lindley just made for us.
Oh wow, that is
Yeah, it looks pretty
awesome.
cool.
Sweet.
Can it drive? Is the question. Right. I got a
That'd be
pistol. I got a good start at least this time. See about running around first
Oh,
person.
baseball
here.
bat.
Bat. Don't want a mop.
Let's go.
A machine gun.
Oh, exotic drop. Someone's got that. Uh-oh. Okay, so that's a pretty powerful machine gun. This tank's awesome. With its wagon wheels, that's great. I need to go check out John's temple.
The outside of the temple.
Oh, someone's dead in the temple.
Yeah, I just got shot outside the temple. Okay, I think I'm spectating Maggie.
Oh no. Oh.
Ah.
I want to know if anyone gets my disguise pistol.
Your disguise.
It looks like a Desert Eagle, and if you press F or Q maybe, it will turn you into a tree.
Wait, what's that controller?
One of the face buttons, I think.
B. Maybe.
It's alright, I'm gonna hunt it down.
Creepy graveyard.
Ooh,
No.
I think Maggie's
Someone
just
has a
got it.
disguise pistol. Maggie,
How'd you
press
know?
buttons. Because I'm spectating Maggie.
Maggie, press F or
Whoa.
Q.
Whoa. Russ, you spectating
I'm
Maggie?
spectating Maggie is the massive tree. That's awesome. Do
Yeah, that really doesn't work brilliantly for this sort of game.
you
I
think
might
we're
have to make it a smaller rock.
Do you think we might be the first people to have incorporated prop hunt into a battle royale?
Yes.
Top Royale.
Prop royale. Ah, that's it.
Come
That's
on, Maggie.
Robin's got one as well.
What, Robin's got a tree gun?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tree versus tree.
Ooh.
2 players remaining.
Back.
No, Maggie. Ah, it's all
Is
coming
that
up,
right?
Robin.
I'm gonna take my tree form.
Nice. Oh, I was actually spectating Robin. I just realised.
Nature
I'm gonna-
wins.
Okay.
I'm gonna go for like a little flower or something, so it's a little bit less obtrusive.
Okay. Right, we'll go back to
Oh, that's
editor.
hilarious.
We'll make a couple more tweaks, and then maybe we'll look to publish it at that point, and then play a few rounds. But yeah, it feels like it's coming together quite nicely. So if anyone in chat has any more suggestions they want to throw out quickly, then that'd be great. Might not get time to get them in, but I'd love to hear what sort of things you guys would at least like to see.
What I want to see is my bone something working.
Yeah, we'll
Whatever
play
it's
we'll
called
play a
now.
few rounds. I might go and run and see what's inside this temple. Any luck with the zones at all? I don't know if they were just still a bit too slow or.
I think we kill each other so quickly that we don't get to see the zone, so I'm going to reduce the game time to like 2.5 minutes or something.
Yeah. Oops.
Because the zones definitely are working. I've seen them
Cool.
come in. It's just they barely like
Yeah.
get into the play area.
Yeah. Make it really quick. Make it like I don't know. Yeah, 2 minutes, something like that.
I made it 2:30, so half the time. That should be all right.
And supply cranes there. So, right, I think the final thing I'm just going to quickly throw together. And I remember someone asked about a campfire. I think campfires always look quite good. So let's chuck one. Oh, someone's already beat me to it. Nice. Cool.
Maggie's one step ahead.
One step ahead. Nice. So yeah, we've got the lights, got the smoke effects. Oh wow, got everything. Yeah, nice.
Did you see the drug money?
The drug money.
It's
The
all these
what?
suitcases.
Oh,
What have you been up to, Maggie?
Making a story. It looks like an innocent.
Richard
campsite.
says, "What's in the cave?" That's a good point, actually. Let's go and have a quick look.
Guns. Guns are in the cave.
The
Loot.
supply
Which
plane
cave?
didn't work.
Depends which cave.
Which it's it's more than one cave. Oh, you guys have
okay.
made a big enough map that I don't know my way around.
What's Maggie been doing? Oh, I see.
I also need to find this caterpillar.
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
want to
yeah.
find a caterpillar.
Wait, has anyone made Russ's famous green skull?
Oh
in
no,
a
I haven't yet.
lake?
Oh, is that behind the water?
Yeah, where's your caterpillar?
It's not an actor. Rain. Quite obvious. You see it.
I think he said it's quite obvious when you see it.
Yeah,
Very quiet.
a little bit. You sort of broke up a tiny bit. Oh, I need to check out the temple as well.
Yeah, what's under the temple?
I think there's just some loot bits to spawn, little various rocks and stuff. Looking cool as a wall sconce. So, okay, so I think we're kind of wrapping up now. I think we're almost ready to maybe have a quick play. So if anyone, any of the mods watching are available and ready to jump in, that'd be good to get a few more people in, make the rounds run a bit longer. But yeah, I think it's really good that, to say we've thrown this together. What we're coming up to an hour and a half at this point. But obviously we've not just built the world, we've added a lot more Battle Royale mechanics to it and that sort of thing. So given more time, obviously we can start to flesh it out, make it a lot more interesting. So yeah, make sure you do get any questions in, so the mods are around doing their best to answer them. How are we looking, guys? Are we almost ready, you think, to kind of have...
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay, so
I'm ready to go.
Yeah, what I might just do is I might just run through and publish this game. I should kind of show off the publish flow. So if you guys maybe want to jump back to the hub when you're ready, and I'll meet you back there in a second. We'll go in through that page.
Okay.
Sure.
Cool. Okay, so I should be able to do that from here. So if I go to the create page now, I can find my game here. And I've got this option here to publish. So now we're ready, and now we've kind of hit a point where we think, right, let's get this game out so people can play it. So again, within an hour and a half, we've made a game that we're kind of ready for people to start playing. I can hit this publish button. At this point, it's going to take me through a bit of a wizard. I can change the name if I'd like to, but I think Rumble in the Jungle works quite well. I can update the description. So in this case, let's go for simple survival shooter where last player alive wins. Set in a jungle environment with a hidden with a hidden treasure. I'm gonna call your caterpillar a treasure.
Generous.
Cool. Okay, we get to update the game card at this point. Pick from the tags, and again, all of this stuff's available to be done on the controller as well. So you get your on-screen keyboard at the various points where you'd need that. What we're going to say, we'll pick a couple of things here. So we'll call this an action fast-paced for sure. Maybe pick one more. PvP. Okay, so we can pick some tags, and the tags are just a way that we can kind of start to catalog things and make them sort of searchable. And kind of people might be able to search for specific tags. So if you're into your sort of fast-paced action PvP games, then this is obviously one that will come up as a perfect match for you. I hit publish. Takes us through a little bit of a loading screen while that does that. Okay, the game is now public and ready to be played. So the guys should all now, if I go back to the hub, jump out and go meet them, and then from there we can actually go on the play page and see that. I can see the hub's getting nice and busy, so hey everybody, got a few more people jumped in to help us. So, okay, at any point now we can go to the play page and we should see recently updated. So the top one here got recently updated Rumble in the Jungle with my description, and it's here ready for people to give a thumbs up, thumbs down, give feedback. We can see more games created by me. Or we can hit play, and that's going to take us in. So if everyone could jump in now and hit play, that'd be great. We'll play a couple of rounds, and we'll just see how we get on. Filling up nice and quick.
Just praying that all the different things I put in work, like the skull bomb things.
We'll see. Okay, so I've got 10 players alive. Okay, best of luck.
The supply plane!
Is it coming in? It's doing it.
It's flying. I don't know if it's going to drop a crate.
Oh, there it goes.
Please drop a crate.
Bye, plane.
It's like, see ya, suckers.
It's just a bit of set dressing. So, loot.
Maybe it already dropped one.
Oh, I got the... Oh, it became a machine gun. Oh, this is not good. I'm in a bad spot. Okay, 1 down, 8 players left.
There's a plant shooting
Oh
at
my
me.
God, it's a moving plant.
Where did you all go?
Flower. Shoot.
I'm playing this like I play PUBG. Crawling around.
Okay, I'm going to come at someone with my mop. Oh, is it a mop fight? Oh, we've got hockey stick versus mop. Oh no, I lost.
Oh,
Almost went.
Oh no.
Almost went.
Oh wow,
Poor people.
that went from 8 to 4 very quick.
Yeah, you were all in a slot, hit each other with mobs.
Someone's got a machine gun.
Okay, you know what, Russ? I'm thinking maybe the zones haven't worked.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, they're there, they're visible there. There's something to be worked on. So yeah, hopefully this has been a good idea. This has been a good kind of showcase of how quickly you can throw these things together. As I say, we've taken this starter game with kind of minimal game logic, and we've really started to add to it and make it our own thing. So we've added all the loot, we've added sort of different mechanics, and obviously we've reacted to some of the crazy things that you guys have shouted out. I think let's just go for one more round and we'll maybe wrap that up. So if anyone has any questions, now's the time to get them in before we wrap the stream up. So this is it. This is the one for all the marbles. Winner takes all.
Okay. You gotta find a caterpillar.
You're
Okay, what color is it? Give us a color.
Ah, I stole your mop. Ah. Right, what's this person got?
Oh god.
Oh no, that's a shotgun. I'm gonna run away because I haven't got a mop. Oh no, this isn't going well for me. Seems to be getting quite dark as well. Oh, I'm taking damage.
Ooh, a disguise pistol. Oh, what? It says shotgun.
Oh, it's getting
It
very
looked like a
dark.
disguise pistol.
Oh, I'm stuck on someone's body. Where's the loot? There's got to be some loot over at the plane
No.
still.
Ooh, explosive barrels.
That is dark.
Oh, this crash looks really cool when it's dark.
Yeah.
Hi, Russ.
Oh no! Right, okay, come at me. I got my mop. Okay, that didn't go very well for me.
Who's left? 5 people left.
5 people left.
There are some great hiding places.
Someone's hiding.
away with.
I'm spectating you now, Adam, so you're on stream.
Okay, it's a little bit dark. I'll try and find somewhere lighter to kill people.
Oh, I'm glad someone put the glowing skeleton.
Yeah.
It's another mandatory thing. But I'm not resting until I find this caterpillar.
Come on, guys. Whoa, who's that? Oh! One shot kill.
It's really hard
Nice.
to see everyone.
4 players left. I can just hear gunshots around me.
Oh, damn.
Cool. Okay, well, I think while these guys finish the game up, I'll start to do the. I'll start to wrap this up. So, thank everybody for being here. It's been another fun stream. So I've really started to enjoy these kind of game creation streams, and I hope you guys have enjoyed them as well. If you haven't already, make sure you do go over to our Discord and check out what's going on over there. We do our best to answer questions sort of live all the time throughout the week. So if you didn't get any questions answered on the stream that you do want to have answered, then yeah, make sure you join us over there. So that should be Crayta.com/Discord. If one of the mods could throw that up into the chat now, that'd be great. If you haven't already subscribed to us here on YouTube, then we stream twice weekly, and we have all sorts of video content coming out throughout the week as we build up to our launch. So yeah, make sure you do subscribe. I think we're almost at 750 subscribers, which would be great if we could hit that by the end of the day. And yeah, so thank you to everybody who's helped me here on the stream today with the building while you're all running around killing each other. I hope you're having as much fun as I had making it. So brilliant. Thanks again to everybody, and we'll see you next week for the next masterclass stream.